Hello and welcome to the Real Housewives of New York, Season 12, a reunion, Part 3. This will be the final time that we get to really come close to Dorinda in the context of the Real Housewives, so it's kind of a farewell to Dorinda as well. Okay, I want to share with you a comment from Coco. Her username is Coco Beauty. She's a subscriber. And I just love her comment because it is exactly how I feel. So I'm going to read it verbatim. I like to watch Housewives because I want to look into the windows of women who live refined and posh lifestyles and envy them a bit. I like Leah, but when I think of her, it's like looking across the street into my neighbor's window. Yes, exactly. So while I think that Leah does certainly add humor, and I'm delighted that she's not drinking, so we won't have to see any of her bizarre antics that seem to explode when she drinks too much. I just don't feel like she has a sort of an aspirational life that we associate with the Housewives. I think that she is, kind of like a regular, kind of barely upper middle class girl living in Manhattan. Now, granted, living in Manhattan is expensive, so upper middle class in Manhattan might be upper class anywhere else, but I just don't think she has that kind of glam life that we do enjoy looking up to. Yes, she's lovely. Yes, she does have her own style, but I really agree with Coco. The reason why I watch this show is not just to see a bunch of women fighting. Like I said, there is something kind of aspirational about it for a lot of people. We want to look, we want to kind of peek through the windows and see this other world. And I feel like out of all the women they've had on the show, she least represents it. I feel like they could have found someone young, cooler, hipper, but maybe a little bit more affluent. I'm very excited they're going to be making the show more diverse. We haven't had the definite announcement of who else is going to be in the cast. There will probably be 2 new cast members, and so that'll be great. We're definitely going to have a more diverse cast, and I think that at least one of them is also going to be young. So we have that to look forward to. And again, there's no reason why I dislike Leah. I'm not saying that. It's just that, I just feel like her and her family are just not, they're just not why a lot of us watch The Housewives. But again, however, listen, I am just so happy that Teddy is gone. I'm not going to complain anymore this week. I'm still on a high from that. So that's okay. And I think that in a way, especially now that she's not drinking, Leah is a bit of a voice of reason, just the way that Bethany used to be kind of the voice of reason, sort of a stabilizing factor when she's not drinking. So that's good. All right, really quickly, I also want to welcome new subscriber, Ronnie Williamson. Welcome to the Shady Tribe. We're so happy to have you. And again, I'm finally actually remembering to say this at the beginning instead of the end. Please do like, comment. I love your comments. Answer them all. They're amazing. And you would do me a very great favor if you would push that little red button and subscribe. And ring that bell if you want to be notified when I have a new upload. All right, without further ado, the end of season 12, truly the end of season 12. Okay, we start with a montage of Ramona apologizing insincerely to everyone. I think we've had these montages before because that's kind of what Ramona does. She says she's sorry, and she says she's sorry so intensely. She does it so intensely. She uses those big bug eyes and she looks right at you and she wants you to know how important you are to her. and that she's really, really sorry. So we go through all that. And it's kind of cute. We also see, then we have a little montage of Sonia talking about trying to get laid, and she explains in the reunion here that, you know, look, she really didn't get much that season. So yeah, she was looking to get laid. Then we see Luann desperately trying to wrangle the housewives to be wherever they're supposed to be, or to kind of try and calm them down. This is the ultimate example of herding cats. It's impossible. Okay, then we have Dorinda saying over and over again, here's the thing, and can you imagine? She does say that a lot. I never really noticed it before, but yeah, she does say, here's the thing, and can you imagine? She says that a lot. Okay, now this is the stupidest question. Andy, who do we think receives the most D pics? Really? Gosh, everyone jumps and says, Sonia, must be Sonia. Oh, Andy, you're so classy. Yeah, you are elevating the show, aren't you? Then he asks, is Ramona a good friend? No. Ramona is a social climber. She's a wannabe. She is desperate to have as many friends with money and clout and pull in the city as possible. Ramona says, look, with Sonia, I have to bring myself down. Like, she has to bring herself down to her level. My other friends elevate me. With my other friends, I'm elevated. Yeah, what's elevated is their hairline. With her 50 good friends. Look what I got, and the effing Gucci bag that she made everyone chip in $100 for. That is so grotesque. That is just the most tacky, déclassé thing I can possibly think of doing. P.S. The bag's ugly. Yeah, and then I also love, they showed a clip, you know, again, showing what a fabulous friend she is. They showed a clip of her entertaining the ladies at her house, having a kind of a dinner party for them, staying at her house, and she leaves her own party to go to another party. So that's Ramona. She's always looking for a bigger, better deal. I have a sister-in-law, and that's what she is famous for. She is always looking for the bigger, better deal. So yeah. Okay. Sonia, she says something brilliant when Ramona goes on and on about how I am very close. These are my very good friends. I have known these women for a long time, and I mean, they're very, very dear to me. They're there for me. And Sonia says, oh, Ramona, who's going to be there with you? Taking the 2-for-1 martini special down at Burger Heaven. Me. Those ladies are going to be gone. They're not going to have anything to do with you. When they're old ladies, it is going to be Sonia and Ramona at 2-for-1 martini Tuesdays at Burger Heaven. That is so true. It's so very, very true. Yeah, because Sonia is a ride or die friend of Ramona's, no matter what Ramona does to her. And Ramona is just like the worst fair weather friend in the world. But, you know, she won't probably cut those old friends off because she will need them when she's old and lonely. Okay. Yeah, again, we see the Gucci bag. We see her, look what I got. Look what I got. Oh, that was just ugly. No, look what you bought for yourself. That's basically what you did. You bought that for yourself. You forced the money out of all the women who came to your party. We also bring up Ramona Fat Shaming Sonia, telling her she needed to lose weight. And, you know, Sonia would say, look, I did need to lose weight. She lost 27 pounds. But it's not the kind of thing you necessarily want to be reminded on a regular basis from your girlfriend, unless the weight gain is so dramatic that it's affecting your health. then I think it's appropriate, for a girlfriend who loves you to say, look, I'm worried about your health. Maybe, you need to exercise a little more, be a little bit more careful about what you're eating. But that's, of course, not the way Ramona handled it. No, not Ramona. She doesn't do anything in a smooth, elegant way. And Ramona, you're not the woman to shame anyone else over a few pounds. Ramona, you look beautiful, but you're not the one to shame another woman over a few pounds. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we see how Elise was complaining a lot to Dorinda and Leah about Ramona and the way Ramona was treating her, the way Ramona was ignoring her. Apparently Ramona thought Elise would come on the show and really be her cheerleader and stand behind her and, know her place and, again, agree with everything that Ramona said and did. So the fact that she did not, but in fact spoke her mind, and that involved talking a lot of smack about Ramona, Ramona felt very betrayed. So that's why she was so angry at Elise. This is boring. I think we can pretty much move on from Elise. There's a reason why Elise didn't even make it into a brief cameo in the reunion. If you're a friend of, and you don't even make it to the reunion, that's a slap in the face. That's just like, no, you didn't do much for the show. And it's also, I guarantee you, Ramona saying, if you have that woman at the reunion, I will not come. I guarantee you there was some of that involved too. Even Barb the Builder got to come to the reunion. Remember? Not that I was a big fan of hers, but still, at least they let her come to the reunion. Then again, Barbara made it through kind of the whole season. Elise got cut out about halfway through. So that's probably why. All right. And they kind of say, look, we can talk about this. We can say all these things. Ramona's a fair weather friend. She's shady. She will, dump us in a second for a better situation, for a better invitation. But they say, you know what? Fundamentally, we love her. She's family. So we're not going to get rid of her. We're not going to give up on her. And that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. The women are very proud and very kind about the whole Sonia by Sonia Morgan thing, that she did finally create something that kind of came to fruition. It doesn't matter whether it's not in every store across the country and it's, absolutely soaring with success. It doesn't matter. The fact is, she did get it in a very busy store, and she picked good clothes from her catalogs of Chinese factories. Unlike Kyle, but Kyle didn't even go through and pick the clothes. She just let Shahida do it. Kyle had nothing to do with those clothes. Sonia really did go through inventory from Chinese dressmakers and pick, specific pieces. And she picked pretty well. They're not exactly my taste, but they're cute, sparkly, fun party dresses. I can see why they would sell reasonably. Okay, I didn't notice it before, but now I'm really looking at the bib on Sonja's dress, the kind of jewel encrusted bib, and it's actually a cut that comes from a designer named Bill Blass, who was a big designer. I guess he probably peaked in the 70s, and that kind of bib, like that V-shaped inverted V bib, was something that was very Bill Blass. But there's something about the shape and then the giant encrusted fake, whether they're glass or whatever, gems on it, that I think makes it look very much like an episode of Star Trek. Not recent Star Trek either. I mean like old, William Shatner Star Trek, where Spock would go home to the Vulcan planet and meet one of the matriarchs there, and she would wear something like that with a weird headpiece. I really decided, I really don't like that dress at all, and it's just because of that giant jeweled collar thing. It's not good. But Sonia, on the other hand, looks amazing. Okay, her townhouse is for sale for $8.5 million. It's 4,800 square feet, has 2 gardens. I have to say, That is less than I would have guessed. I realize right now that, things are a little weird in the world, but for a townhouse in that location, which is basically sublime, it's real estate heaven in Manhattan, and to have all those stories and to have a lot of historic touches, I would have guessed, I would have definitely guessed that it was more than that. I would have guessed more like 12 million. So not that I have 8.5 million, but I feel like someone who gets that for, let's say, 8 million is kind of getting a good deal, even if you do. I think the reason why they lowered the price is because there is a lot of work to do. So, but it's very pretty. It's definitely very pretty. Sonia not only looks good in terms of her face, her figure, all that, she also looks happier. She definitely looks happier. Okay, now we're going to get onto Dorindas Temper. She says, back in the beginning of the season, they show her talking and she's saying, look, I'm scared and I'm unhappy and I feel like I'm angry at everybody all the time. I don't remember seeing that in the beginning of the season. That would have been good to know for later on. That she was having kind of these problems and she felt a lot of turmoil and she was very irritable. I'm sorry, I have to pause and go do something with my insane cat Nigel because my husband is still working. His law office is in our home right now. And Nigel will sit outside his office and just caterwaul at him. Now you hear Lowell coming out. But no matter what we do, no matter if we spray him with water or what, it doesn't matter. He won't stop caterwauling. He wants free access in and out of Lowell's office. So in other words, putting him in there doesn't make him happy. Letting him out doesn't make him happy. He needs free access. In the meantime, my husband needs to be having, private phone conversations with his clients, or he needs to do during the day depositions and mediations and things like that via Zoom. Lawyers are working at home and he's got a lot going on right now. And Nigel's there to just make him miserable and to complicate things the whole way. Did I mention Nigel's bipolar? All right, so we hear about how unhappy, Dorinda's saying how unhappy and scared she felt at the beginning of the season, that too much happened at once. And she just felt kind of lost, and that made her irritable. That made her annoyed and irritable. I understand that. When I feel like I'm sort of out of control, like not being able to travel during La Cuarentena, I also get irritable and annoyed, but I don't get mean. I mean, irritable is like getting a little bit snappy with people, not mean though. I don't think it's an excuse. To be mean. And now we have a montage of Dorinda being a bitch. Especially Dorinda hitting so hard at Luann. First of all, let's go all the way back to Cartagena. At least I don't have a mugshot. I don't have a mugshot. And then, at the Berkshires this season, you're the one with the mugshot. You got a mugshot again. And she brings it up at a time when Luann is not really doing anything to hurt her or against her. And you see, when Dorinda brings this up at the Berkshires, the camera goes to Luann's face. And you can see that Luann is really hurt. She doesn't like being reminded of this. No one would. But it's not the time now where enough years have gone by where this is a funny story that she's got a sense of humor about. This is very wounding to her. And that look on her face, the look on Luann's face says everything. Then of course, in Mexico, she brings it up again. Mugshot. Let's just do a montage of that, of Dorinda going to Luann. Mugshot. And then, of course, the last words that Dorinda speaks on the main show, that stupid bitch Tinsley, after her rage over Leah mentioning Tinsley. at Sonia's drag queen bingo. Okay, so Dorinda says she was overwhelmed. She didn't feel like there was anyone she could reach out to for help. She admits that she coped really badly. She even admits to Ramona, yeah, you were right. I was angry and you pointed it out all the time. But Dorinda says to Ramona, and this sounds like Ramona, she said, Ramona, you were pointing this out all the time about how rage-filled I was and the problem I had with my temper. But you always did this when the cameras were rolling. It would have been so nice if after the cameras shut off, you came over to me and said, are you okay? How are you doing? Anything I can do? Or if you called me or asked me out to dinner, things like that. So in other words, she's saying your concern was fake. Your concern was on the cameras. Remember when they go down to the cenote and they're having lunch afterwards and Ramona's like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. And she gets all ridiculously fake cries and gets all emotional. Oh God. So Ramona brings a pile. She knows that Dorinda's going to say this. Well, you know, you didn't really try. You didn't really try with me. You didn't really try to talk to me. You didn't try to get together. So Ramona brings a huge pile of text messages, you know, Real Housewives style in giant font on all, you know, printed out, you know, at home. And, you know, she's proving, these texts are supposed to prove that she texted her many times after the season was over, once the season was over. Okay, well, number one, texts don't take a lot of effort. If someone is suffering, if I have a friend or a sister or someone whom I love who is suffering, texts are ancillary to my phone calls of support and love, or my flying out to them when times are normal to be with them, to show them my support and my love. And then what you do is you send texts like a few times a day, just checking in, how you doing, are you feeling better, anything, you know, like that. I love you, I'm here for you. That's what texts are for. You don't just rely on texts. So her just texting Dorinda after the season was over, a whoop-de-effing do. And then also, as Dorinda says, she didn't need it as much then. Once the season was over, she kind of started getting things more together. Remember at the beginning, she was dealing with broken ribs, the flood at the Berkshire's house, which was horrible, by the way. I mean, you know, at first you're like, oh no, your mansion has been flooded, but you see the photos and it was like, ay. And remember, that was a place where she had a lot of her keepsakes of her marriage to Richard, so that was a whole emotional thing. And then she's in the process of breaking up with John. So yeah, she did kind of have a lot on her plate at the beginning, but that's still no excuse for her being mean. That's not any excuse for the way she treated Luann. That's not any excuse for the way she treated Luann and other people. I mean, she was definitely just being a major bitch. Okay, she said that she did feel like Sonia and Leah were there for her, and they tried. She said Sonia helped a lot. She would talk to Sonia on the phone, and Sonia was really there. That's my impression of Sonia. I feel like Sonia is, you know, is someone who loves, and when she loves, she's there for you, and it's not that easy for you to push her away. Hi, bipolar boy. I don't know, he's just kind of in the shadows, so I don't know how much you can see him, but he's bipolar boy, and he makes things very difficult. Daddy is trying to earn money. Yeah, and he's growling at me. Daddy, he's growling at me. Oh, and a little hiss is coming. He usually hisses when he gets mad. Ah, did you hear the hiss? Yeah, that's evil Nigel. And then he'll be 5 minutes later snuggled up against me going, you want to hiss again? Sometimes I just hiss back at him. He is so weird. You're just so weird. Yes, you are. He's crazy. All right, but we're stuck with him. You know, once you rescue a cat, it's like adopting a child. You don't get to give them back. So, yeah, no, don't worry. You're not going back to the park. Okay. And so anyway, Dorinda said for some reason she just didn't want to hear it from Luann or from Ramona. She didn't feel like it was sincere from Ramona, and she felt like Luann had no place talking to her about things like drinking or her behavior because of what Luann had been through and what Luann had done. Dorinda does apologize to Luann. She did look back at those times when she's bringing up, you know, the arrest and all that, that humiliation in Palm Beach, and she sincerely apologizes for that. But she still feels Ramona's fake. She's like, no, she doesn't really buy Ramona's. We care about you. We're worried about you. Fake crying, fake crying, fake crying. Okay, she does not hold back on giving Tinsley hell for not opening herself enough on the show. She feels like Tinsley just kept herself kind of closed off and kept too many secrets on the show. Well, once again, let's just kind of harken back to earlier in this reunion, and let's remember that Dorinda didn't have any problem with Tinsley. They were friends until what? Until John Medesian went to Scott, Tinsley's boyfriend, and asked him for money, and Scott generously agreed. And when Dorinda found out about that, she was completely humiliated. And just to remind you, they had to take Tinsley out of the house because they were afraid Dorinda was going to go crazy on her ass. So yeah, Dorinda was enraged by that, and that's the exact moment when she started being really nasty to Tinsley. So let's not kid ourselves. Leah can't start trouble with Dorinda because Dorinda's always been nice to her. And then Leah says something bizarre. She says Dorinda doesn't hit below the belt. What? No, Dorinda always hits below the belt. That's what Dorinda does. She says the meanest thing she possibly can. I give you a mugshot, and turkey baster. Enough said. I don't think Leah's been paying attention. I don't know. I cannot explain that comment. After the drag queen bingo and Dorinda attacking Tinsley, and jumping on Leah for even just mentioning Tinsley, she said she did call Leah the next morning to apologize. And she knows that she ruined the finale. Yeah, and you also got yourself fired. So, hope it was worth it. Wow, Dorinda and Ramona have been friends for 20 years. Yeah, I had no idea, because I feel like it's just not that deep of a friendship. I really don't feel like it's that deep of a friendship. So that kind of shocked me. I mean, I wonder like how close have they been for 20 years? Acquaintances or like close friends for 20 years? Because wow, Ramona really is a crappy friend. Yeah. And then, oh my God, Ramona does that thing she does, and actually Leah calls it out. She does her fake, scary, mesmerizing Ramona scare on Dorinda, trying to say, look at me. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. It's so scary. Ramona's eyes. Woo! I love you. I will always love you. I will always love you. She's so full of shit. Who is more full of shit than Ramona? I might say Lisa Rinna, but the thing is, Lisa Rinna doesn't always pretend to be nice. Lisa Rinna is not afraid to just say, yeah, I'm going to be a scary bitch now. So, I don't know, might be Ramona. She's definitely a top 3 contender for fakest bitch on any Real Housewives show. Okay, now we have the final thoughts. Which moment would you like to socially distance yourself from, and which housewife would you like to hug? Ramona says that she would like to distance herself from calling Leah bipolar, of course, because that's what you got the most smack from the public. You took a lot of heat for that from your fans. So I think that's what that's about. And she would hug Dorinda. I love you. I have always loved you. Yeah. Dorinda would distance herself from the things that she said to Lou, making fun of her and putting her down for her criminal escapade. And Dorinda says she wants to hug everyone. Okay. Lou says she would like to distance herself from the night with Sonia in the Berkshires, where she's basically like, I don't need you in my damn show. I'm doing you a favor. Then you're fired. You know, that whole thing, where we found out that Sonia wasn't really getting paid or wasn't getting paid much. So yeah, and the other ladies kind of stuck up for her. And Luann had a diva moment and lost her shit. And Lou wants to hug. I want to hug everyone. I want to hug everyone. Okay, Sonia wants to distance herself from drinking. Sonia, I want you to distance yourself from drinking. It's ugly. It's really ugly. It was a little bit funny 10 years ago. Now it's just, yee. And she would like to hug Dorinda. Because Sonia said actually Dorinda sharing her problems with me, calling me and sharing all her problems and kind of crying on my shoulder, Sonia said that really helped me. And I understand. Sometimes, you know, when you're really helping and giving to a friend, you're thinking of someone else instead of yourself. It brings you out of your own problems. And it kind of lifts you up. I totally understand that. I totally get that. Leah would distance herself from the state of Rhode Island. She's specifically speaking about her naked romp at Newport, at the place they rented. And she would hug Ramona. Oh, suck up, Leah. Really? Okay. All right. Okay. Now they take a socially distanced selfie, but as I told you, and I still can't find it, after they take the socially distanced selfie, somebody took a photo of them all scrunched together. So this whole thing about put on a mask and being so careful, at some point they were all snuggled up together. So, but anyway, you know, this was, it was a growing season and a tearing down season. I feel like it was a building and a deconstructing season is the way I would characterize it. I think that there was no real choice other than to ask Dorinda to leave. However, now I feel like she is working on her stuff and she kind of has gone through her worst period, hopefully. She is funny. She's funny. She's a good hostess. She definitely added a lot to the show. So if she really is in anger management and working on herself and all of that, I would like to see her come back. And there is a rumor that they are talking to her about maybe getting it together and coming back on the show next season. And I would like that. I would like that. I would like it if there was a new, younger, diverse cast member and Dorinda, and there could even be one more. That would be 7. There's been 7. A lot of times you have 7 cast members. I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed sharing this season with me. And I've really loved doing these recaps. And I can't wait for the next one to come around, which is going to be Orange County. We also have Salt Lake City coming up, which I wasn't sure I wanted to do because I'm like, oh great, we need more privileged white women on TV. And it's just so conservative there. But watching the trailers and seeing the women they've picked, they're kind of a different group. They're not exactly what you would expect. They're not casserole bearing Mormon housewives. Nothing wrong with Mormon housewives, but I'm saying it looks like it's a kind of a different group. maybe not diverse racially, but certainly diverse in terms of, you know, their lifestyles they lead, in terms of not all being super traditional women. And of course, we still have Potomac. Come join me for Potomac. That season is just, it's the Hot Mess Express. And yeah, I've got the recap coming up for the latest one. Probably I'm going to film it tomorrow. So I should have it up on Wednesday. And woo, that's quite an episode. So do join me for that. I keep telling you, I love those ladies. Love those ladies. They're glamorous, they're messy, they're smart, they're everything you want in Housewives. Anyway, please continue to be very, very careful out there. I really, yeah, I've just gotten to know you. Stick around. Take good care of yourself and stick around. Again, I love to hear from you. Keep sending your comments. I always answer back. If you do subscribe, do not forget to go down in the comments and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm a new subscriber, and I want you to be good, but not too good. Love you guys. Bye.